for those of you that have been living under a rock, Will Smith's former assistant and alleged good friend is making claims, and he went to Tasha K. And I can't understand for the life of me why he would go on Tasha K. I don't know why somebody would be ready to torpedo their entire career. I can't understand for the life of me how y'all out here snitching. And I know y'all do it for less. I know y'all don't do it for much. I seen y'all on the first 48 snitching for a corned beef sandwich and some chili cheese fries and a Diet Coke. You ain't even get the regular Coke with real sugar, and you was about to do your whole life in prison, and you gave everybody up for a Diet Coke and some corned beef sandwiches. So, I'm not surprised by the feminine energy that's happening out here. And he did look very, very feminine, and obviously he was living in this feminine energy because he was out here throwing Will under the bus. But that's not the part that disturbed me the most outside of the fact that you got to be careful who you keep around you, and you got to make sure that you keep your grass cut because anybody can throw you under the bus even if they've known you for over a decade, right? The part that really bothered me, maybe it didn't bother me so much, was two things. And we always got to go back to, and I know it's important for y'all to do it, and y'all don't want to do it when it's not convenient for you, but we got to go back to two things. Number one, it's women that spent the majority of their time rejoicing in the idea that Will is continuing to go down the razor blade into the alcohol river. Yes, they are. Will is out here suffering, and the very women that say that they hold us down, even though he's been loyal, and when I say loyal, he's been loyal. Well, Anton, he's the one that's doing the most egregious things, and he's allegedly, because we can't prove this to be true, he's allegedly getting buzzed down by Duane Martin. Okay, all right, cool. So you got something right there, right? Let's assume that that's true. But on the other end of the spectrum, this all happened in this whole debacle, because you have to remember, if you rewind all the way back to what's going on, this all happened as a chain of events. The first domino to fall, because we've been hearing rumors for a very, very, very long time about Will Smith. I mean, this is not new news. This is not anything that surprised us. I don't think that anybody heard it. It was just a graphic detail about which this guy described it that was really bothersome for a lot of us, right? But I don't think that this is anything new because, again, for the longest time, people have been assuming that this was true, this was happening, that there's rumors that this is going on, and so on and so forth. So if we make the assumption that it's true, well then A, there's always been leaks in their security and in their assistance, and so you can't even remove this guy from being one of the people that was throwing him under the bus and spreading the rumors in the first place, right? That's number one. But number two, with the black woman rejoicing that Will is suffering as a result of it, I got you. But then if you rewind all the way back to where the first domino fell, because a rumor is just a rumor until you can justify and substantiate it, the first domino that fell, if we just going to be honest about it, was Jada. The first domino that fell, I don't know if everybody was under duress or they had a agreement or they signed the contracts and the paperwork that basically said that you was going to get sued if you said anything negative and all of this stuff. But the first domino that fell was Jada. The first domino that fell. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if Jada wasn't messing with August Alsina. And if you remember, shortly after August Alsina started writing songs and he tried to capitalize off of the fact that it was exposed that he had a relationship, somehow, some way, August Alsina, first of all, he got beat up allegedly by Tory Lanez. Didn't August Alsina get beat up by Tory Lanez? And then after that, he turned zesty. Yo. Hollywood is the weirdest place on the face of the earth. After August Alsina got bust down Jada and got busted as a result of it, he got beat up allegedly by Tory Lanez, and then all of a sudden he came out as zesty. So do Jada just attract zesty men? if these alleged rumors is true, how come every guy that Jada is with is zesty? How come how come every man that Jada is with is zesty? That's the first thing that came to my mind. Even the guys that she cheating with, they zesty. Number one. Number two, when her domino fell and she continued to invite the wolves to the front door, meaning that nobody was checking for Will. We all just focused on outside of 6 degrees of separation. We all focused on all of his great movies. We loved him. He had just got an Oscar, and then this dude got a battery in his back, and next thing you know, he was slapping Chris Rock. He was crying on Red Table Talk. He was fighting off the fact that people was throwing him under the bus for August Alsina busting down his chick. Jada was continuously posting Tupac. She came out with a book and then she went on tour to emasculate Will on top of it. And then everybody else got the courage to be able to come out and say, well, since Will is a bitch, we might as well just go ahead and just throw him under the bus. He ain't did nothing to Jada. He ain't did nothing to August. He ain't did nothing to the Red Table Talk. He ain't did nothing to nothing that nobody said. And so we would have never even assumed that Will was a bitch. And I'm not saying that Will was a bitch, but I'm saying that he was being treated like a bitch by the very chick that continued to throw him under the bus. And she was the one inviting the wolves to the table. Okay, so let me ask a question. If Will had never got married, because remember that they got kids and the kids are seeing this and all of this, right? And this is this is not new, right? The lifestyle that they're exposing, the conversations that we having is all new, but the idea of how they're moving is not new. If you ever want to see the downfall of most men, and this is a fact, if you ever want to see the downfall of most men, it don't come as a result of him losing or he just crazy. 9 times out of 10, great men get taken down by interesting women. Most kingdoms have fallen as the result of a woman. Now, that does not absolve us from holding responsible the men that then let the kingdom fall or couldn't discipline themselves from selecting and rocking with the wrong type of women. But at the downfall of every kingdom, at the downfall of the dude that at the forefront of the movement, man, you can take a look at any movie, read any history book. The downfall of a man is a woman. What was the movie with a dude who wore the chinchilla? American Gangster with Denzel Washington in it. I mean, the dude, the actual guy by which the film was depicted about, gave intricate details as to why the police got on his radar in the first place. His entire life, he was Bumpy Johnson's security. He was rolling with him. He learned the game from him. He masterminded the whole idea of being able to cut out the middleman and go straight to the supplier, naming it Blue Magic. He was a marketing genius. He was a gangster. He held people down. People respected him. He bought his mama a house. He brought his whole family in. Everybody is rolling in the dough. And you know how he got caught? According to the movie? According to him himself that did an interview, you know how he got caught? He let a fine woman who he never should have been with in the first place because she was already somebody else's, but she monkey branched over. He let a chick convince him to start stepping outside of what he was taught, his very nature, the very thing that Bumpy Johnson had taught him not to do. He had one lapse in judgment, and the next thing you know, the entire operation and an entire family is done.